Let's do a round of fragrance battles where I put two men's fragrances up against each other. Hi, hope you're all welcome. So I've done a lot of fragrance battles on the channel, however most of them have been on YouTube Shorts. So I wanted to do them like this to better be able to share my thoughts on why I think one fragrance is better than the other. Before I begin, a like on this video is highly appreciated, thank you, and please do consider subscribing. And I would also love to know how you would choose in these battles, so make sure you comment. So the first battle we have is Armani Stronger With You Intensely versus Allure the Most Wanted Eau de Parfum. Which of these is the best is one of the most common questions I get, and I know a lot of people think they are extremely similar, but I do think there's a difference. The Most Wanted Eau de Parfum is spicy intense with cardamom, and it has a caramel-like kind of sweetness to it that's balanced up by a bit of amberiness and woodiness. Intensely is basically a sweet mix of spices and vanilla that's a bit ambery. The Most Wanted Eau de Parfum is spicy, sweet and woody. Intensely is more of a spicy sweet vanilla. The main similarity is that both of them have a sort of a caramel-like kind of sweetness. But to me, Intensely is less spicy intense and has a sweeter feel to it, whereas Most Wanted is more spicy sharp, less sweet and more balanced. Intensely is a great scent with good performance and it's a compliment getter, but I would definitely choose the Most Wanted Eau de Parfum, which I think is better. I think Allure the Most Wanted, the Eau de Parfum, is overall sort of a more balanced scent, and I do think it has a lot more sort of a personality to it. Next up we have Chanel Allure Sport Eau Extreme versus Allure Edition Blanche. Eau Extreme to me is pretty much the perfect mix of sweetness and freshness. A wicked aromatic minty and citrusy opening and an intoxicating musky woody sweet and vanillic dry down. It's fresh, sweet and woody, and it gives me a sexy vibe. Edition Blanche goes in a different direction with a great blend of citrus together with musk, sandalwood, cedar and vanilla. I think it really stands out with its sort of a creamy sandalwood, that lemony freshness and the vanilla. It's definitely a scent that gets attention when you spray it properly. With that said, I would go with Chanel Allure Sport Eau Extreme. There's just something incredibly sexy about this scent, and it's one of my fragrances for life for a reason. Next up we have Valentino Uomo Born in Roma versus Born in Roma Intense. The Valentino line often gets a bit of hate, but I like it. Born in Roma Intense is quite different compared to the original Born in Roma, and it's basically all about a super smooth blend with a focus on vanilla and lavender. A combo of the aromatic freshness from the lavender, a smooth vanilla and a bit of bubblegumish kind of sweetness makes this a fantastic scent. Born in Roma is a mix of aromatic and spicy freshness, woodiness and a touch of sweetness. The OG Born in Roma is a great everyday kind of fragrance and it's a compliment getter, but I would choose Born in Roma Intense. There's something about this sort of a mix of vanilla and lavender and the incredibly smoothness of it all that I absolutely love. Next up we have Gaultier Le Beau the Eau de Toilette versus Le Beau Le Parfum. So moving on to the sort of a tropical scents that are the Le Beaux. I've been through multiple bottles of the original Le Beau, and to me it's a fantastic mix of freshness and sweetness with coconut and vanilla. Fresh bergamot mixed with the creamy sweetness of tonka and coconut. Fresh and sweet in a sexy way. Le Beau Le Parfum is fresh and fruity in the opening with a woody and sweet dry down that focuses on vanilla and coconut. While both have vanilla and coconut, they are quite different. Le Beau Le Parfum does have more depth to it, and it's definitely a lot less fresh than Le Beau the Eau de Toilette. I know I'm in a minority here, and you are probably one of many who thinks that Le Beau Le Parfum is the best one. However, I lean more towards Le Beau the EDT, and it's more sort of a fresh sweetness. With that said, Le Beau Le Parfum is a fantastic scent. I reach for the OG more on summer days and Le Beau Le Parfum for summer nights or fall or spring. Next up we have Parfums de Marly Sedley versus Percival. Sedley is a great fresher with a big dose of citrusy freshness that's made even fresher with a bit of mint. The dry down is woody and fresh with musk and lavender and that citrusy minty mix on top. There's a hint of something sort of a green and fresh in Sedley, and its woodiness, at least to me, is creamy smooth. There's absolutely no doubt that Sedley is one of the finest freshes ever made, and I know most of you would choose Sedley over Percival, but I would go with Percival if I had to choose between the two. A spicy and citrusy fresh opening that smells great. However, the best part of Percival is a dry down. It's a woody and fresh dry down with a bit of sexy sweetness on an ambery and musky base. Sweet sexiness mixed with epic freshness. Both of these are crowd pleasers that smell great, but I absolutely love Percival. Next up we have Prada Luna Rossa Ocean, the Eau de Toilette versus the Eau de Parfum. The original Luna Rossa Ocean does open up a bit sort of fresh, but its freshness, at least to me, is not sort of insanely bright or super fresh. Sage and lavender with a bit of spiciness for a sort of a fresh and smooth opening. The dry down takes that heart of sage and lavender in a musky and slightly sweet direction. The OG smells good for sure, and it actually smells better now than when I bought it. In a way, it's like a sort of like a freshie, but with a bit of depth and warmth. It's definitely not insanely fresh, but it's also not a heavy or deep kind of scent. Ocean Eau de Parfum goes in a very different direction with a quick burst of freshness in the opening that dries down to a very smooth balsamic kind of vanilla that's quite ambery. Intensely ambery and vanillic, but intense in a smooth way. I would love to hear from you on which of these two you think is the best, but to me the Eau de Parfum is the better one. Its extreme amberiness and that smooth vanilla is to me quite intoxicating. Next up we have YSL La Nuit de l'Homme versus La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. Let's start with Bleu Electrique. It's a mix of freshness, woodiness and a sexy dose of spices. Bleu Electrique has a bit of freshness with a fab dose of lavender on a woody base with a bit of sweetness. This is mass appealing done a la YSL, and it's a gorgeous scent. Moving on to the OG La Nuit de l'Homme, this is pretty much a modern classic by now. You get a bit of aromatic freshness, a bit of woodiness and a dose of cardamom. The OG La Nuit de l'Homme smells great for sure, and it's definitely a scent it's pretty much impossible to go wrong with. To me, Bleu Electrique is a bit more on the fresh side, whereas the original has a bit more warmth to it. None of these are complex kind of scents, but to me, Bleu Electrique has more nuances to it. And to me, and you probably disagree with me on this, Bleu Electrique wins. So there you go, there you have my winners. Now I would absolutely love to know how you would choose between these and which you think are the winners, so make sure you comment. Like this video for more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe, make sure you check out the videos over there, and I'll see you in the next one.